really unsound as well. If you're linking together, I don't know, fast foods and sport, absolutely that should be banned outright. I don't necessarily believe that the regulation will work, however, if it's just a labelling moment.
And Dr. Hyming, presumably the companies will just find another way to get around legislation changes.
One of the key things I think we want to make it clear that is basically advert games are not just available on companies' websites. They are on social media, which children can easily access, and they're also on mini clips, where there's no age limitation on children to play the games. So that's the reason I think advert games containing junk food should be totally banned.
I think we definitely agree on the fact that those kind of things should be banned. There should be some kind of regulation in that other space. My point is, if it's the company's space, then I think that's going to be very, very hard to regulate, and maybe you shouldn't. However, you know, advert games and mobile games can also be used for good. And let's not get rid of the positive side of it. If they can teach people to do bad things, then surely they can teach people to do good things as well. Your report before about, you know, kids eating more fresh food. Well, maybe we should make a mobile game that.
But they're not doing that. They're not doing that, though, are they? They're a fast food company.
Companies will never do that. Absolutely,
aren't going to do that. You know, with cereals that are advertised with high sugar content, this is what children are being exposed to. This is the problem, that perhaps parents, and you've made this point, need to be more educated or need to be more aware of what children are being exposed to.
I think in the modern world, we've got to teach, you know, young people and small children about online stuff and a variety of different things. There's going to be a lot more dangers online than there used to be. But let's be honest, you know, I won't mention any brand names, but the game, we've always played games. They've always had games on the back of their packaging. It's always been about that. That is part and parcel of it. We can't really now tell them off and say, well, now they're online as well. That's terrible. Well, actually, we're all online now. Maybe we should educate people, parents, and they should take more responsibility, really.
And Dr. Hyming, do you expect support? Are you optimistic?
Okay. What we try to call for is a compulsory, clear and uniform labelling system, which they can inform children that when they play advert games, they are exposed to commercial messages. In other words, they can make up their own minds to see whether they want to accept or reject those commercial messages embedded in advert games. We also try to encourage a public debate to see whether those advert games about junk food should be totally banned, because junk food currently is totally banned on TV advertising. But there's no clear regulations.
I think that's your point, though, isn't it? It's not necessarily banning advertising games. It's actually purely in this subsect for children.
Okay.
And I mean, and for me, it's not about protecting these companies, because that's also not my job. My concern is that in some way we might over-regulate, and actually, will that regulation even work? Will labelling work?
Lots of questions to ask.
Thank you.
Thank you for the discussion.